Well, 2020's off to a great start, aside from America starting a war with Iran, the royal family falling apart, Australia being on fire, Hollywood still not being as progressive as they think they are, and Gwyneth Paltrow releasing a line of candles that smell like a vagina. Well, it's been a good start for the quality of the movies. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Luke's Reviews, the first episode of 2020. A little delayed because I've had all kind of work going on behind the scenes, as well as doing uni work. So now that we're kind of back in the swing of things, and what a way to kickstart the year. We're still in the awards season swing, and so hopefully that does mean a bunch of high caliber movies coming out into the cinemas, and none more so than Sam Mendes' new war epic, 1917. So in 1917, we follow two soldiers who were tasked with trekking through occupied German territory to deliver a message that will save 1,600 lives, avoiding a trap set out by the Germans. Now, in terms of plot, hearing that brief synopsis sounds interesting, but albeit a little straightforward for war films nowadays. Now, believe me, 1917 is anything but straightforward. In fact, I go so far as to say that it might just be one of the best films I've seen in a long time. Now, I've only seen the film once, and I do planning on seeing a lot more, but just going off of my initial experience, I was left stunned by what I saw in this film. From pretty much every single aspect, 1917 is a cinematic accomplishment I don't think I've ever quite experienced before. This film genuinely does deserve to go down in the history books. It's outstanding. Honestly, what Sam Mendes has done here, from not just a directorial point of view, but he co-wrote the script, is masterful. I'm yet to see Parasite, but I can't see the Best Director Academy Award going to anyone else but Sam Mendes. From a technical perspective, which I'll touch on soon, the movie is flawless, but from a story and emotional perspective, that is where the heart of this movie lies. And when we get to bear witness to that heart, it really does soar. The film is based around memoirs and stories told by Mendes' grandfather, who served in the First World War as a messenger. And so you can tell that this film and this story does really have a personal connection to Sam Mendes, which is why he wanted to take it on. And seeing that passion that he has for this story, and that translated onto the courage, the bravery and heroism of Schofield and Blake as they trek across miles of potentially life-threatening territory to ensure the survival of a group of their soldiers, that really does tap into, I think, what society needs, and it's that sense of brotherhood, that sense of loyalty and trust. George McKay and Dean Charles-Chapman really do terrific work in this film. Both actors are asked to give incredibly physically and emotionally demanding roles. I've become partially obsessed with this film, so I have watched hours of behind-the-scenes footage, seeing how they blocked it out months before the sets were even built, and they were just rehearsing almost like a dance, almost choreographing how the scenes would be blocked, to then it becoming almost ingrained in them, and them having to just transform into these characters for 10, 11-minute takes is really astonishing work. McKay specifically does a tremendous job, and in my eyes is more than worthy of earning an Oscar nomination. I know he hasn't, but he gives such a very beautifully understated performance, and yet is so demanding for an actor. But let's get on to the biggest talking point of this film, and that is undoubtedly the cinematography. Roger Deakins is behind the camera. Roger Deakins, pretty much the king of cinematography. I don't think that there is a person that could create a film more beautiful than he. And what he does in this film, what he and Sam Mendes have collaborated on, is mind-blowing work. Now, recently, the idea of one-shots and tracking shots have kind of become like a gimmick. They're kind of a fun, inventive way to shoot a scene for the audience to go, oh wow, this hasn't got away yet, this is quite impressive. And it is impressive, but sometimes it doesn't really serve a purpose to the story. For this, for 1917, it is integral to everything you see. Now, for those of you who aren't aware what I'm talking about here, 1917 has been filmed, edited, and directed to look as if it is one continuous shot. Now, it isn't. It is a lot of very long, possibly 8, 9, 10-minute takes, edited together to look like it is one shot, but it is not one continuous shot. And the idea behind this is that they want to create an immersive experience to put you alongside the soldiers. You are, in a roundabout way, the third soldier on this journey with them. Everything that they experience for the first time, you are there experiencing it with them. And the reason why this way of filming is so necessary for the story is that the entire film is a race against time. These soldiers are having to get from point A to point B in a certain amount of time to save 1,600 lives. And the fact that the camera is always with them, you are literally with them on this journey, it heightens that tension, it heightens that immediacy, and as they've said, really does make for an incredibly immersive experience. And as I said before, it's almost like a ballet. The results that Deakins gives here is sensational. It's choreographed to the finest detail, to where the camera is moving so fluidly and smoothly that it becomes just a stunning motion picture. Filmmakers have crafted an experience that never allows the audience a chance to breathe, aside from a couple brief interludes. Those interludes, however, are placed perfectly to allow the tension to sort of settle before we're back off on this journey and the tension begins to rise again. And these smaller, quieter scenes are positioned in such a way where we get to know a bit more about these characters. There are no introductions or backstories. We don't get any exposition drops about what's waiting for them at home. What we're learning in these moments is what kind of person they are. And with the aid of the ingenious editing, 1917 becomes a war film unlike anything I've ever seen before. And even though I did spend the first 20 minutes looking for where the cuts could be, I stopped caring. And I was too emotionally invested in the story to focus on where they could have stopped filming and where they could have started. I was still amazed by the work, but that story is what began to take over. And I feel like that's the most important part. Regardless of the intricacies of how they filmed it, this film never actually loses sight of the story it's wanting to share. However, just as stunning as the cinematography is here, another aspect of this film that I don't think is receiving enough praise is the production elements. 1917 is full of these huge, sprawling, practical sets that add to the authenticity and immersivity of this experience. Sets that have had to have been explicitly designed to last for these characters to encompass what they need to in the scene. Everything has been fine-tuned down to the smallest detail, so nothing takes you out of the movie. Not to mention that Thomas Newman's score only bolsters these moments that either add to dread or intensity. Now, one scene in particular that you might have seen in the trailer of McKay running across the battlefield with explosions behind him and soldiers are running across as well, is capping off the end of the trailer, and it's a fantastic shot. It gets you intrigued as to the scale and the scope of this film. But when it plays out in the film and you realize everything that has led to that moment in particular, it becomes what I like to refer to as a very special moment. Now, I see a lot of films. I see bad films, I see good films, and I see great films too. But one thing that's very rare is I don't get to see that many special movies. A movie where I'm sat there going, I feel like this is a defining moment in cinema history. And there are quite a few moments peppered in through this film where I had that sensation, where I kind of just sat back, was in awe of what was happening in front of me, with these filmmakers that weren't trying to make a movie to fill a quota, weren't trying to make a movie to appease a fandom, weren't trying to make a movie to appeal to the Oscars or the awards, were just trying to make a movie because they fell in love with the story and wanted to tell it as beautifully as they could. And in those special moments, 1917 became more than just a movie, more than just a film. This became an experience, a movie that I cannot highly advise you actually go out to the cinema to see. From a filmmaking point of view, this film is faultless. Sam Mendes has gone above and beyond to deliver a jaw-dropping experience that will blow you away. Deakins yet again proves why he is the god of a camera, blending technical prowess and still retaining beauty. I know it's only the first month of the year, and I know that we've got a bunch of other movies to look forward to, but I'm saying this as of right now, I don't think I'm going to see a film in 2020 better than 1917. This has been one of the easiest films for me to grade. I'm going to give 1917 a 10 out of 10. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts on 1917. Let me know what you thought of the film down in the comments below. And my question to you, what do you think is the best war film? Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this film down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. The links to all of my social media accounts are in the description below. Many thanks for watching guys, and I shall see you in the next video.